really happy you joined us for this session this afternoon. We've got some very special guests with us, and this session is actually sponsored by Kelly OCG. And we have a short video, and Mike Barrett is going to come up and introduce these mystery people that you have no idea who they are from Kustoms. So, thanks.
Mystery.
All over the world, as each new day dawns, people rise and they go to work. Some people work in factories, others in offices. There are those who work on the road and those who work from home. Each has their own role to play in our economy, our progress, as companies, as industries, as people. They grow our food, ship our freight, search for scientific breakthroughs and the understanding that leads to them. They balance our books, answer our calls, and solve our problems. And they build, they create, they invent, they propel. And then there's us, the ones who connect those people to their world of work, connect them to their dreams, to the income that pays for their homes, their health care, the education of their children, their vacations. And we connect them to others. It's a community after all, and we're all in it together, united by our passion to connect talent to the world of work, to innovate our strategies and approaches so we can more effectively help people, lift them, and support them in reaching their greatest potential. Because we know that empowering others strengthens us all.
Once again, a nice hand for Kelly Services. Thank you very much for sponsoring today's event. My name is Chris Moody. I have the pleasure of moderating today's Q&A. And before we get started, I do want to introduce the sponsor for today's event. Please give a nice hand to Mike Barrett, the VP and Chief Strategist for Kelly Services.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Hey, it's great to be here. I'm Mike Barrett with Kelly Services, and my company founded the staffing industry almost 70 years ago in the Motor City of Detroit, Michigan. And as you can see by the video, we are in the business of connecting people with work. And we do that better than anyone. And we know how important it is to ensure that the right talent makes it to the right jobs at the right time. I'm pleased to be able to, sorry about that. Speaking of talent, I have the privilege of introducing Kevin Mack and Horny Mike, two of the stars of the History Channel's Counting Cars, which chronicles the daily activities of Kustoms, an auto restoration and customization company owned and operated by Danny Koker. Kevin is Danny's right-hand man and a friend for more than 20 years. Horny Mike is an airbrush specialist artist known for his practice of putting 3D horns on nearly everything. So please join me in welcoming Kevin Mack and Horny Mike.
All right. Man, this chair's so fancy.
I know. They call it.
I don't know what to do. Oh, damn, the microphone's working now.
I don't know. Testing one, two. So they call these tulip chairs. So we're sitting in a bunch of tulips here.
All right.
So thank you very much for joining us here today. Before we get started, why don't we give a brief background on what you do in case some people out here are unfamiliar with what you do.
Well, this feels, I guess this microphone here, you're supposed to hear me, right? So can everybody's all right? You can hear? All right, so basically what I do these days is I wrangle cats. That's my job. I just make sure they're all doing what they're supposed to be doing. And
You just call us all sissies.
this one right here, you got to keep your eye on him because he's got really bad OCD, so, or whatever. He doesn't know time. Time is nothing to him, so you have to kind of keep his schedule and his time. guys like this is, what I work with every day are artists. So really, I'm the only guy that pretty much dots the I's and crosses the T's around the shop, but we have tremendous artists. We have a team of artists, and that's really what they all are, from paint, fabrication, Danny and his ideas, but everybody that works there, the airbrush artists, the painters, the guys that sand, because really the guys in the body shop that are getting everything prepped to paint are really key guys too, because all of that has to be perfect.
It's a grueling job.
It really is. Those guys are, it's tough. Body work, I'll tell you what, maybe tarring roofs might be a little tougher, but because you're out in the elements, but these guys, we give them an air-conditioned room, we give them heat in the wintertime, whatever they need to be comfortable, because their job is, for Counts Customs and our brand, before we let anything go, it has to be perfect. And these guys, when they do that body work, it's better than it came from the factory or for whoever made it originally. The lines are sharp.
How come we don't get no AC?
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
Want some air conditioning?
Because you would sleep there. So, but yeah, so we make sure that everybody's piece, everybody's doing the right thing and gets it ready for these guys to paint. And these guys are amazing painters. Their airbrush work, their paint work, as you can see, up close on the Cadillac. I mean, it's amazing what comes out of the shop. It amazes me every day. But really, the team. It's all about a team and working together. And one of the most talented artists we have is Mike right here. And truly, these guys are special.
I feel like you said that.
They almost every one of them needs a manager or somebody to handle their day-to-day because they can't do it. So guys like me have to do that. So I'm good at running labor. So if anybody needs help running labor, I'm really good at that.
So
Talk to Mike.
I had the pleasure of meeting Kevin and Mike in Las Vegas at our other show at FabTech that was there last November. So your shop is based in Las Vegas. Could you give us kind of a walkthrough? Because you use several different types of manufacturing. You have welding, you have fabricating, you have 3D printing. Kind of give us a walkthrough of what you could expect inside.
Yeah, I mean, if you start from the motorcycle shop, even our motorcycle guys are artists because what they build. Yes, you can order parts out of magazines and books and things like that, and we don't manufacture our own parts. We don't have time. I mean, if we had time, I would love to have some of this amazing equipment that's even at these shows.
Love to have some of this
but these guys are building these art pieces, and they really are. I mean, just because you can buy pieces and parts and you can't throw them all together, they don't go together. So you have to make them work, and there's a lot of fab involved, even just in the simplest motorcycles we build, because we don't build anything just ordinary. We always put a little something to it. So what we call our flavor to it. So, the long bikes, people look at those and they go, they're unrideable. You go around a turn, they dump down. Not these, and we make sure the engineering is proper on these bikes. So there's a lot to go into these, and but that's where it all started from us, was the bike shop. But they do plenty of welding and fabricating, and again, body work. The guys doing the body work on the tin, and so the paint shop can paint it. But there's a couple things we don't do at the shop. Pretty much we try and do everything ourselves. We don't powder coat, and we don't polish, and chroming. That pretty much everything else we don't do sandblasting either. So those four things we don't do. Everything else we do in-house. We try to do. So, but we start there, and then we go into the where we build classic cars, hot rods, those types of things. And really the restoration process should take, if any of you have had a car restored, wherever you've taken it, it hasn't been done under 2 years. It's a long time to do it and do it right, because of all the rust cut out and re-welding and everything you redo takes time. And if you want it done right, you have to take your time. But we've been able to set up a process because of the TV show that has probably, motorcycles. We can have a motorcycle from start to finish done in probably 4 weeks, maybe 6. Cars, give us 12 weeks. Give us 12 weeks to get rid of rust. We can do it. Do we like doing them that fast? No. But because of the show, we've had to do that. But we are set up to do that. So, the show has afforded us to get better tools, better equipment, make better relationships with people out there to help us. And now we've taken that and we've kind of made it work for us. And so, but we're doing a lot of the things that these companies do, and all of these. I mean, I could go down every aisle here and pick a piece of equipment that I know would help us.
Oh, yeah. I'm drooling walking around here.
And you get a guy like who's an artist, and the 3D printing. I mean, we've tried to use 3D printing on classic cars, and Danny won't allow it. But we're running out of parts. We're seriously running out of remanufactured parts. There's a lot of companies that aren't making those. Those what are they, lenses for lights, and you can get them printed 3D now. And it's like, why try and find the original when you can just make one that's identical? But Danny has a funny thing about making everything original. So
he has a hard time with technology.
Yeah, technology.
So sometimes we gotta push him. Sometimes we gotta kick him and push him at the same time to get him to bite on technology. But there's so much more technology out there that honestly could probably help Danny save money. Sure. Well, we can get it done quicker.
And the crazy projects that Mike does adds to it, because we can show, or Mike can show his knowledge and his artistic talent and his dreams and thinking of something, and it becomes reality. And I've seen him do it many times on many different items, and he does it on the stuff he owns, not on the stuff Danny owns, which is good, because he wants to keep his job. So and everything we do is not all original. We do a lot of resto mod stuff, but we like to keep the parts and pieces as real as we can, even resto modding. So if that makes sense. But we do live, probably too much in the 70s. We like the 70s. That was our favorite decade. Yeah, a lot of stuff happened in the 70s, a lot of good stuff, and that era and just what they did back then. And if you look back even past, let's just go past the 70s, but before that, the 60s and the 50s, some of the cars, and some of the old timers that are here will know what I'm talking about. Some of these cars, the options that they had when they built these cars, and we see those options today, and we're like, man, I can't believe they thought of that stuff back then. And from dimmer switches, oncoming lights. I mean, how many Mercedes, Porsches, BMWs have that feature today where you're driving down the road and your brights are on and it sees another light and it dims? Most of us have to do that manually, but they made cars in the 50s and 60s that do that kind of stuff. So
without computers.
Without computers. So the technology really, we just keep taking things a step further, and really, like the commercials you see moving into the digital age. We have to. That's where things are going. A lot of these machines are all digitally run, and you have to have computers, but man, does it save money? Does it save on manufacturing costs? Does it save on a whole lot of things so these companies can make a profit and stay in business?
That's cool. Yeah, and one thing you brought up was the older cars and some of the modifications. But one thing that stuck with me the last time that we had you was the idea of the rust. Doing your work out in Las Vegas, very dry climate, and the problems that rust has with your jobs. Tell us, elaborate on the rust, but also tell us what might have been your biggest challenge, either during the course of the show or maybe prior to the show starting.
Yeah, so, obviously we're in Southern California, probably an endless amount of classic cars in this state. Just driving down the highway, sometimes you see stuff you don't ever see. You're seeing Impalas by the dozens, and you don't see those anywhere else but Southern California. There's a lot of different vehicles, but rust, as living here at the beach, for people who live here, it's a killer. And you always have to be rinsing your stuff off because otherwise the rust kills it. East Coast, Canada, a lot of Canadian folks that love our show, a lot of car people in that small country. You think about the population of California, 35 million people, that's how much is in the whole country of Canada. And probably 25 million of them are car lovers. And they love to drive their car a month out of the year, because that's the only weather they get. But rust is brutal. It tears apart the nicest things. And we're lucky in Las Vegas. We have a dry climate. The worst thing that goes wrong, and that's how we're able to find so many cars in our area, because you can just leave it out in your front yard. It's not going to rust. It's never going to rust. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to have to replace the interior from the heat, and it dries out all the rubber and your vinyl tops and your leather seats. It's brutal. The heat and the sun are brutal, but I'll take that over rust any day. And we've done a couple of really rusty cars on the show, and one of them was, and I saw back there, you did have a picture of it. There were a couple Mopars that we did, his and hers, and when those cars
metal holding hands.
It was ridiculous. You could honestly, people got mad at us because we had a 62, what was that pool table?
I can't remember the year.
Yeah, 62. There you go, Ford Falcon. And people got mad because we made it into a pool table. But I got to tell you, man, the floors were rusted out of that thing. We lifted it up on the lift, and because of the way things were falling through, and it was dangerous, and there was just no, you would spend $500,000 putting that car. If you charge for every hour on rust removal and repair, nobody could afford it. So, we take a beating on those, and we can't do them as much as we'd like to, because there's a lot of great sentimental cars out there that people would love to restore that just rust has taken them over. And, we know how bad cancer is, and the rust is the same for vehicles and motorcycles. It'll tear them up. So
that was an ugly car anyways. It deserved to be a pool table.
It wasn't a high-dollar car, but somebody who loves those cars, I get it. We hate to tear it apart and not put it back together and rebuild it, but there's just so much you can, but it's the hours that add up and the amount of labor that goes into it.
Cool.
Chopping it out, replacing it,
there you go.
Making sure that everything's gone, everything's
and
sealed right.
On that, give him props on that pool table, because the artwork and the airbrushing he did on that, he started at, I think, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and he was done by 10 a.m. the next morning, straight through, and he got a stool. He literally got a rolling stool.
I wasn't clapping. I dragged myself out the next day. And somebody just dragged me out to my car.
He got his airbrush, and he didn't draw anything out. He just went freehand in his head, and that thing was amazing. But it was all skulls and really dark stuff. So I wonder what's in his brain. Because he did it without laying it out. So he already had that in his frontal lobe. And I don't know how he took it from there, but it looked like,
every artist is a little messed up.
Yeah. I still talk about it to this day because it was something we did probably 5 years ago, but it was so amazing that he could just airbrush what was in his brain and lay it out and make it perfect. And I don't get that kind of stuff. I have no left side, so I don't understand it, but these guys are truly amazing.
It's a nice segue, Kevin, because I do want to find out what is kind of in your brain. With the horns and everything, why don't you give everybody kind of an idea of how they were made and the background of what Horny Mike's all about?
Well, in the end, I'm not as stupid as I seem all the time. I made a custom helmet for somebody. It was a horn helmet. Everybody was always asking for one. But it was heavy, it was impractical, it was hard to wear, and not to mention I had to charge a fortune for it because it took so long to do. So I started making molds, trying to figure out how to make basically a fiberglass empty shell so that I could just put them on a little bit faster. In making that mold, I popped one out of plastic, and I was sitting there kind of looking, and I was like, wait a minute. If people will suction cup a mohawk to their helmet, why won't they double stick tape a horn to it? Which double stick tape's going to hold way stronger now, especially nowadays.
Sure.
So I started looking into it. I made 3 different types, got a business plan, I got a business partner. Next thing you know, we had an injection mold in Taiwan. We were making the little ones. These are my newest ones. Had to sell my smart car to make these, though.
Tell us how they were made.
They're injection mold.
Okay.
So that I can make 1 million of them flawless. You know, I just got to call up and be able to afford to make 1 million of them. So I haven't made 1 million of them yet. You know, that's over time. But they're all injection mold. They come 2 in a package with double stick tape. Stick double stick tape on the bottom. Find a good spot on your helmet. Stick them on. Bam. You're horny.
Cool. Very cool.
And it's not perverted somehow. I don't know how, how I ended up using the horny. My logo is the word horny, and then really small it says helmet accessories.
Nice.
Because I knew that everybody remembered the word horny. Nobody cared about the helmet accessories.
Oh, cool. Okay. So tell us, what is your favorite project that you've ever done on the show, before the show, after the show, whatever? What's your favorite piece that you've ever done? Because you have a background in airbrushing, correct?
Yeah. Well, listen, you got to understand something. I'm kind of selfish that way. My favorite project's always one of my projects. Okay. My bus. I love my bus. It's so much fun to drive around. It's so much fun to take places. Thank you. And Danny let me go wild with it. Okay. And I mean, I couldn't even thank him enough. I'm pretty sure I still owe him money for it, but
You do.
I mean,
You do.
I brought it up already. You don't have to bring it up. But I mean, you really can't say which one's your favorite, because I mean, Danny's Riviera was absolutely incredible. I mean, I had to beg to help with that, because Danny pretty much likes Ryan's style as far as his own personal stuff. But I'm there to irritate Ryan, to get Ryan to twist his own style a little bit. That's what I like about working with me and Ryan. Nobody has an ego. We don't care. I show him up all the time. He shows me up all the time. But that actually helps us, work off of each other all the time. So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Except for I hate when he shows me up. And then I have to show him up.
Well, you spoke about Danny. Now, did you find Danny, or Danny did he find you?
Let's see. How does Danny
always
say it?
finds these guys.
Yeah, how does Danny say it?
How does
They're
Danny
like cats. They just show up. There's no rhyme or reason. Most of the people that have ever worked at the shop have just kind of shown up there.
Yeah, I've been around for quite a few years, and Danny needed help Ryan needed help on Vamped. Danny was opening up Vamped, and his tattoo shop needed a little bit of help. I had already always worked with the shop, but I came in and tried to help out. And Danny says it like this, I gave the rat a little bit of cheese, and he just won't stop coming by. So I worked a job out of him finally.
So how long have you been working there?
I don't even know anymore.
Probably about 10
years, somewhere in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And when did this show come along, and how did that all come about? Was it something that you pitched, or was it?
Well, it was
Danny.
interesting because, first of all, the show's been just a little over 5 years old. And I think we've shown probably about 145 episodes. And we've got some more coming in October, and then probably again the first of next year. But so 5 years on the show, and probably 6 months before that to start filming before the first episode. So you figure about 5.5 years. And then before that, Danny did a lot of things. He did a lot of biker build-off shows and was in some biker build-off, different events that they did around the country and stuff. And so that started stuff. And then we opened this restaurant, this rock and roll restaurant, and then we also opened a tattoo shop at the same time. And we had a production company out of Florida that was doing some different filming, and they had some ideas for a show. And so they were doing some reels and trying to get it going. In the meantime, Pawn Stars, as you've all seen on History Channel, they needed a car expert, and we had known those guys for years. And they asked Danny to come over. They filmed with them, and an editor in New York saw Danny, fell in love with him, and came up with a concept. And the same production company filmed a reel, and the network ended up buying it. So
that's great.
Yeah, it's kind of,
Danny's got a lot of charisma, so
accidentally fell into it.
So tell me how the TV shows changed your business. Obviously, I've seen the show several times. You have people that come out. I saw the episode with the ambulance from Minnesota, maybe?
Maine.
Maine. Knew it was an M.
You gotta love them, but their business plan is the worst in the world. They're gonna drive around the country and free everybody's ghosts and spirits up for free.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys are gonna be broke in about a year.
Well, it was funny because we filmed, and right after we got done filming, they wanted to take the ambulance back to Maine because they brought their daughter out, and she had to get back to school. So they had to hurry back. So they all get in the ambulance. I said, whoa. You forgetting something? The guy's like, no, what? Honey, you got your clothes? You got your bag? Yeah, we're good. We got everything. I said, well, you forgot something. You forgot to pay for it. And so they gave us a small deposit, and we actually came in under budget on that one. Was nice. And so we said, hey, well, we got to get some money from you guys. And they go, oh, well, we don't have any checks with us. I said, we take cash. And they're like, well, we got to get out of town. We got to get her back to school. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I said, banks are open till 5. And then they hit the lottery. I don't know if
they won
for
$2
the
million.
folks that didn't see the episode, is these guys hit the lottery and their budget was enormous, and they came in with this old ambulance and wanted to make it a ghost chaser vehicle. And first, you folks, you guys, you're in the manufacturing. I don't know how they get this and think about making a living. I don't know how you depend on that to pay your bills. But anyway, that's what they did, and they hit the lottery, so they were going to go out and do this. And of course, we wouldn't let them leave. And
but this is something that the audience didn't see.
Yeah, the audience didn't see any of this, and it was quite embarrassing actually for them. And of course, they didn't leave with it. We actually, because now they couldn't get to any money and their credit cards wouldn't work, we're like, wait a second, you hit the lottery. Okay, so fast forward, we ended up renting a car for them, and we told them we're going to charge you 20% for doing this. So we did that, and by the time their bill had increased, and about 4 months later, they finally paid it off. So that's when it left.
The lottery.
Happy ending, and they're saving lives. I
and
guess.
Just ghosts.
Well, they're getting rid of the ghosts. Yeah.
So I had to read something here. Danny was once quoted saying, "The shop is a semi-controlled chaos in an absolute fun way." Can you translate that for us?
Oh, sure. I mean, Danny's funny. He's very old school. He likes to shake hands. He doesn't like contracts. He hates signing his name. Just handshake. Good with a handshake. Well, unfortunately, nobody does that anymore. But he is so easygoing, and his whole idea is, look, come to work, do your job. Work hard, take care of business, have as much fun along the way. So we don't care if you're having fun, just make sure the job gets done.
Why do you think I still have a job?
Yeah, and I mean...
I get my job done, I just maybe don't get it done exactly the way they want.
Yeah.
But it gets done.
Yeah, it gets done. And, again, have fun. We think you get more out of, workers if they're in a fun environment, having a good time. And, that's one of the things that we thought along the way, too, because it's so hot in Las Vegas, as I mentioned before. Having air conditioning and heat in the shops, it makes all the difference in the world getting the most out of your employees, and especially if it's labor intense, which most of the jobs around there are. So, but the artists work weird hours. Some of them come in at midnight. Some of them stay till 2 the next day. Some of them come in
whatever it takes
2 the next day and leave at 4 the next day.
So we're gonna open it up to questions in just a few minutes. But what advice would you give any medium to small to medium shop owners that want to make a profit? How do you stay sustainable in something like this?
Don't think it's going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
I mean, it's flat out. I mean, it's a ton of work. It's a ton of advertising, ton of going to car shows and constantly, putting your face out there, constantly advertising, constantly kind of giving away a little bit too, trying to help charities, literally keeping your name out there. I mean, you can't expect to own a shop, run a body shop, that's in the backwoods in some industrial spot, and everybody's just going to come over. You got to create your name, and that means you're going to have to bust ass twice as hard as the next guy, to keep your face out there. I mean, man, I can't tell you the amount of shows we went to before anybody even knew about us.
Yeah, social media nowadays is
Helps.
kind of is pretty much everybody's marketing tool, and hey, everybody's got these smartphones, and
Not Danny.
and they're a lot smarter than we are, but they, everybody's on their phones, and so why not put everything on the phone, and that's kind of where it's gone. I mean, but hard work, and I tell you what, customer service goes a long way. You always got to take care of the customer, but referrals. I mean, that's for us, it's all referral base in a sense. We get one customer, we got all his neighbors. And you asked earlier what's this done for the shop? I mean, really, our business used to be majority of motorcycles, and now it's flip-flopped, and it's more cars, but way more cars, and that we can handle. And so we're pretty much at capacity right now, but we've got a 3-year wait, but the higher budgets went out. Unfortunately, we take the higher budgets first because that's just the nature of the beast. We have to, and it costs us a lot of money to do the show, and because everything's got to be perfect. So we go the extra step. If it's not perfect, it doesn't leave. And, when we first started the show, we were doing these vehicles for get them show ready, but they weren't ready to go. And you can't, and we stopped doing that.
Danny refuses now.
We
He's
won't
like, the
do
car
that.
is going to be ready
We
the
hate
day that
doing
it
it.
films.
Okay.
Period.
Yeah, now, everything test driven, it's ready to go. The last cleaning's been done. It's your car, your bike, you take it.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to test drive.
Or we ship it or whatever the deal is. But, we as soon as we're done with it, we film it and it goes.
Okay. Yeah, when I was watching your show and you mentioned Pawn Stars, I live 10 minutes from a pawn shop that also has a reality show, and the name is escaping me right now, in Detroit.
Oh.
And I always think,
can't remember.
when they do these shows and your hardcore pawn, that's it, thank you.
Hardcore pawn, yeah.
And I'm glad you sat right there. I always think of the competition, like these you have a lot of different shops that are there. What has that done to the competition around you? Have you been able to take some of their best pieces and have them come work for you, or how does that it must favor you great deal?
I don't really know because we don't, and I don't want to sound I don't want to sound like
cocky.
Yeah, I don't want. Well, I didn't want to use that word, but I don't want to. I don't want to sound brash. But I got to tell you, I don't know of any other shops in our area that do what we do. I know there's some good guys that paint, and I know there's some good work out there, and I we can't handle it all, and I'm not, and we shouldn't be.
Yeah.
That's why competition's good, and everybody should have a chance at it. And I'm sure there is. I just don't know of them. But there's some great shops around the country. I know Phoenix has some great shops. Of course, Southern California, Northern California, they all have great shops. So and there is a ton of work done in this state. I mean, the amount of people and cars is just truly unbelievable. If you can't find something in California, you just can't. You didn't look hard enough.
Great. Well, we love your show, and I think there's a lot of people out here that do love the show that may have some questions. We have some microphones that are going around. Mariah is going to help us out right down here in the front row. Yeah, if you have a question, feel free to raise your hand.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Hello.
Yep.
There you are.
My name is Heather.
How you doing, Heather?
Good. Welcome to California.
Well, thank you.
On your show, you guys never do pink, but there's a lot of ladies out there that like the color pink. So, since Danny also does a car for the casinos once in a while, why not go retro with pink and black? Sonny and Cher had matching Mustangs, pink and black.
They painted it for themselves.
I
We
know.
can't
but
paint a
it's
car
very-
in
it's-
hopes
it's-
that someone's going to like it.
It's very retro.
That's
And there's a lot of ladies that like to watch the show.
Yeah,
Well,
if
no, we would
hey,
love
if
some
we-
of the ladies to
But
come get their car painted.
Yeah, I mean, if
But
a lady and she wants to get her car done and she has a big enough budget, we'll paint it pink.
Okay, when I get
Rainbow,
mine haired,
what
we
you
don't
want?
care.
when I
Glitter?
get mine haired, I'll come to you because I want a pink car. And
Well-
it's got to be baby pink, not
Yeah.
that other funky pink you guys do. It's got to be baby pink.
Oh, so you want straight fluffy pink.
Yes.
Fluffy
please.
All
pink,
right.
Well, you know, we have done
With
a
black
couple
flames.
pink
We
items.
did a pink car.
Yes.
With black flames.
We got this.
That would be Ghost.
We can
you
do
know.
all this.
That would be rad.
Coming this spring. Wanna-
Well,
Counts Customs pink line.
Hi, my name is Brian.
Brian.
There's a shop that.
Right, low.
Nice Ghost.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep, there it
All
goes.
right, there you go. My name is Brian. I live here in California. I took my brother's truck to a shop next door, like to where I live. They did a really bad job. Like the paint's horrible and stuff. And
Happens.
He paid for it ahead of time. I guess that's where he messed up. Is there anything we could do to have them fix what they did wrong? Because they messed up like a lot of things.
You would unfortunately hope the shop would want to fix it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's you come to our shop, you get something done at our shop. I mean, if we've messed something up or we missed something, we're gonna fix it.
Oh, we've done that
It's not
before.
even a question.
We've sent a truck all the way to New York to pick up a car, bring it back because the headliner in the car fell down. So we'll fix everything. If there's not another shop close to where you live and you trust that person, we'll pay them to fix it, or we'll just send a truck and pick up the car and bring it back, or a motorcycle and fix it right.
If they
Are
don't
they
want to
not-
fix it, what
You have to go the legal route.
Now you're stuck in the
You have
legal
to-
court
you
stuff.
you have to sue them, but you can go to small claims and you can sue them, and it happens quick. It's a quick deal. You got to pay a couple dollars, less than $100, I think. You can sue up to I don't know how much it is
think it's
in
$5,000.
California, 5,000, and you just go sit with the judge, and you can work it out in court.
It's just too bad they're not
Yeah,
sticking up to their own work.
and there's unfortunately
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do about it. But you should never give you always do it in deposit amounts. So
half and half.
Yeah, because he paid in full.
Yeah,
you
that's
never
bad.
do that.
You wanna
Automatically,
see
they
what you're
rushed
getting.
it, and they didn't the gas caps, missing.
Yeah.
Antennas missing.
We hear
weather
it. We
strips
hear it all the
missing.
time. We hear it all the time.
Along
It's
with-
common practice. So don't feel
Unfortunately.
bad.
Along with doing things right and finding the right people to do the job, do you search out students? I mean, are there schools that you would kind of look into?
I mean, there are some school. We've taken some students from the Harley Davidson, or I forget what but they're the mechanics school in
Oh,
Phoenix.
Biotech.
What? No, not
Is it
no,
Wyotech?
no,
No.
not Wyotech. But we have had some people at Wyotech that have come out. But
I'm stuck in the back, so I don't know.
the Motorcycle Mechanics Institute, MCI or whatever it is, or MMI. That's it. MMI out of Phoenix. They do a great job. So we've hired from there, and I mean, we our insurance policy is pretty crazy about internship stuff and things like that. And so we've done it a few times, but it's tough on the insurance part of things. But I mean, but we've also had kids that have started with us at 18 years old and they're still with us, and now they're doing other things in the shop. Yeah, so it's great. We allow people to move up.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. My name's Greg. Thanks for being here. I love the show.
Thanks for having
Thanks,
us.
man.
I work in an industrial building, and we have a lot of forklifts. But what intrigued me on one of your shows, you guys painted a forklift.
Yeah, we did Danny's.
Fantastic. Who did the job?
Ryan. It was pretty much all Ryan.
Well,
I feel like it was that moment where, he just wanted to have some extra brownie points. So he didn't include me at all. He wouldn't let me help. It's like, hey, Danny, look what I did. I'm like, oh, good for you, Ryan. You're awesome.
Yeah, no, he did. You're right. That's an older forklift that we rebuilt. We had the I think they built built the whole motor on that
rebuilt the
thing.
motor, rebuilt everything.
Everything, yeah. It came out really good, though.
Yeah. Now he
we don't
doesn't
get
let
to
us
use it now, though. Danny doesn't want to use it.
It's so nice. He's like, nobody gets to use it now.
Yeah.
Same
It's
with his
painted.
golf cart. As soon as the golf cart was done, we used to be able to drive it. Now it just sits in the showroom looking pretty.
Oh, we have one in the back.
Hi, I'm Melanie.
How are you?
I started a 3D metal printing company about a year and a half ago. I was just wondering if you could talk about if you guys use any really cool technologies or if you do any 3D metal printing in your designs.
Did you say 3D metal printing?
Yes.
I'm so like absolutely itching to get a hold of some 3D printing, and I have 3-4 different jobs that I'm planning. I already have all of the artwork completely finished. I am itching to get a hold of some of it. I mean, I got a golf cart I want to do. I got a bike that I want to do. I'm actually getting ready to do my Dodge Ram, and I want some funky horns coming off of the right out the front fenders. It can't be Ram horns because then it'll just look like circles. But I'm intrigued as it gets by because if you can learn how to sculpt in the computer, I can make literally whatever I want as long as you can scan your item. You can fit that item to it. I mean, I've read up on it. I've looked into it. And like I say, I'm deep into it. We just don't have it at the shop yet. But I'm going to keep plugging away. Danny's resistant.
Danny's 1970s all the way, man. Technology, forget about it.
So resistant.
It's all old school.
He's like, who's going to run it?
We got guys with hammers and what do you call those? No, where they just keep hitting the tank to form the tank.
Oh yeah, the anvil and everything.
Yeah, we're doing that.
We still got some. We
make the guys. Do
we
all
need
that
some new equipment.
My name is John Lawrence. I'm from Fresno Workforce Development Board. And first of all, I want to commend you guys on you guys giving back to the community. Like you said, the show has brought you so much hype and media and everything else that brings you a lot of business, obviously, but you're also giving back through charities. So I want to commend you on that, first of all. Second of all, absolutely. Second of all, do you work closely with high schools or anything like that? Do you do any presentations there or show up, just kind of talk about what you do in your shop to try to increase their hopefully desire to get into this field?
Yeah,
obviously,
we
manufacturing
do.
Is huge.
We've had a lot of the local high school. We've even had schools from out of town that contact us and say, hey, we're in town for this. Can we come by and take a tour of your shop? We're like, absolutely, come by. But yes, we've had high school, tons of them. We even do a deal with the Department of Corrections for these kids that are locked up, unfortunately, but they're getting out and they want to show these kids what they can do with their lives. And so we've had those kids come by numerous times, and we all talk to them. And we try and, and let them know there is a different direction. You can go a different direction. And there's been a lot of people that have helped, these correctional places, and especially for these kids, to get equipment in there and teach them how to do something so when they get out, they have something that they can They have a certain trade they can do. I know they're doing it in the prison, the regular prisons, which is great for the people to get out so they have a skill. But I think with the kids, when they come to us and we tell them, hey, you guys can do this. It's look at we're just everyday people. You can get your hands dirty. You can build something and build a life, and it works. And it does help the high schools, because when I was in high school, we had metal shop, we have wood shop. A lot of high schools don't have that anymore.
No, and that's exactly my point. It's been gone for so long, and having role models like yourselves, that a lot of our younger generation, they actually see you on TV and say, hey, I would like to do that. So it's great that you're actually giving back to them as well.
Well, they do use me as an example all the time. They're like, look what he did. I mean, if he can come up, come on, so can you.
I mean, if any of you are from Michigan and downriver, that's where that boy's from.
Yeah, my name is Jerry. I worked at San Bernardino Valley College, and we had, well, I don't work there anymore, obviously, but we have an automotive program there, and it's one of the last ones in the state run by a community college. Most of it is going privatized, UTI and things like that, where you have to spend $60,000, and if you don't learn something in one group, you can't go back. So it's hard to train people to do this stuff nowadays, because if they miss something, they have to pay to go back to learn that section. So Valley College still teaches it. So if you guys are interested, Valley College has a hot rod class, upholstery class.
Where is that exactly?
San Bernardino Valley
Oh,
College.
it's in San Bernardino. Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, there you go. San Bernardino Valley College, and they're still doing auto shop. And,
Yes.
you know, I mean, I had auto shop in high school, and it was a blast. We got to do oil changes, and, you know, you learn how to
One of my
actually
favorite
take care of your car.
classes.
And, you know, nowadays I know they're computers, and they are, man, and we call them Easter eggs. They all look the same. They're just a different color. But, you know, they're all plastic bumper cars, and, you know, it's crazy where the car industry, I mean, I know that, you know, this is the technology and the wave of the future, and now you got these, damn electric cars. Can't even hear them coming. Get out of the way. So, you know, I mean, I don't know. I'm old school. I like carburation. I'll take gasoline. We got plenty of it. And but I'll tell you what, if you're burning electric, you're burning coal. So pick it. Pick which natural resource, but it's not, you know, coal isn't as clean as everybody thinks. I mean, you're burning coal. So, you know, electric, gas, it's the same thing to me. You know, emissions, okay, I agree with that. I realize that. And in this city, oh, my God, get on the highway here.
Yeah.
You know, it's horrible. I get it. And the amount of traffic is crazy. It just is what it is. But there's not, you know, Southern California is different. But you go outside of Southern California and you don't have those areas where it's that bad. And so, you know, but again, old school and teaching a craft. And again, try and find me, you know, I'm an employer. You know, I want to interview tomorrow 10 ASC mechanics, certified mechanics. They're not out there. They're just not out there.
There's one.
They're too hard to come by. And everybody nowadays, all these dealerships, and don't get me wrong, I drive a newer car too, so I understand. I have some older ones too, but I get it. And the computer says change this, and it's just, you know, plug and play. So do you call that a mechanic? Of course they are, but again, it's not as difficult as it was in the day when we were kids and we were growing up working on engines and motors.
My Scat Pack sends me a monthly message saying everything's okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
I'm like,
some of the
right.
software in these vehicles is crazy. I mean, it's just like you get a check engine light and you go to the dealer and they go, oh, it's just an upgrade. We'll just attach it to this. You know, it's just software, huh? You know, so I get it, but I tell you, we need those. And I know when you drive around this country, there's still a lot of classic cars out there.
Yeah, I own a whole bunch of them myself. My question for your viewers, how the hell did you come up with that bus, and how long did it really take you to build it? This show makes it look like it happened in 30 minutes. I know Danny gave you a limit on how long the bus was going to sit.
That thing had to get done in exactly 3 weeks. From start to finish, body work, paint, airbrush, put the motor in, get the interior in. It had to, but no, the entire shop helped. I mean, they brought 16 guys in. Scott was crude. It was kind of horrible, actually. They had already worked a full day. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, he rolled it in, and he was like, nobody's leaving until the bodywork's done on the bus today. So we were there till 3 in the morning. 16 guys just going crazy on this thing. But you're not supposed, that's why we got rid of Scott.
Yeah, because do you know how much overtime we had to pay for that little deal?
That all went on my bill. That was bull.
I think we have a question in the back.
Yes, what's the average cost of your custom jobs, and have you ever refused a job because the specs weren't cherry enough?
Danny refuses jobs all the
time. You know, the PGA golf people, God bless them, but they brought us an idea for a concept on a motorcycle one time, and their budget was rather large. And they said, that's what we want. Danny goes, I don't build that. I'm not building that. Shania Twain wanted a bike that looked like a horse. We wouldn't do that either. So there's a lot of things we won't do. And Danny, if anybody ever, accuses him of selling out, they are way wrong.
Oh,
that is one boy that will never sell out.
Oh, I have to play devil's
But our
advocate.
average. But let me just answer that second question. That average cost, You know, I would say recently we probably haven't done anything under 50,000 and as much as 150. To be honest, I have a car we've been working on for a while. It's got a $200,000 budget. It's a 51 Merc. So that thing, you know, it's going to have a lot of gold on it when it gets done. But that thing, it will be gorgeous. But again, the person doesn't mind throwing a little bit at it at a time and doing a little bit here and a little bit there. But again, the bigger budgets right now, you know, we have to do them. But like I say, we take a loss on a lot of vehicles because Danny's perfection, you can't charge somebody for that. They'll never pay for it. So you have to come out of pocket on some of those.
Yeah, and if Danny wants something done, he doesn't care. He's like, no, that's not right. We're gonna have to change this stripe, do that, repaint that side. And he doesn't care.
I go crazy all the time because I go, you know how much that'll cost? He goes, I don't care. Just get it done.
It's gonna be right when it's done.
Yeah.
Period.
Anybody see History just did a 1-hour special on our show. They called it Car Week. It was a few weeks ago, and we did Michael Madsen. We did a Mustang for his son. And when we got that, if you saw the show, you'll see when we opened the hood of that car and we're all just staring at it. So it was a straight 6, and we're just going,
it's a hoopty.
Huh? And then Danny goes, yeah, we're not putting that back in it.
Rip it out.
And then when we delivered that car, I mean, he put, you know, a beautiful engine in that thing, and I tell you, Michael Madsen shed tears. Now, here's an actor. And this guy could, you know, pretty much afford anything he wants. When we delivered that car and we gave it to his son, he got so emotional he cried. And it was hard to fight back tears on us because we get emotional with those things. It's tough, man. And you know, the story behind Michael has, I think, 4 or 5 children, and the reason he decided to do it with this son is this son of his, since the age 14, 15, whenever you could get a work permit here in the state of California and go to work, his son's been working from that day, and he's 19, and he's never asked his dad for a dime, which is amazing. So that's why he did that for his son, which was nice.
I have to go back and ask the question, with the PGA Tour and Shania Twain, what was the reason that he turned it down?
Just the design.
Certain things he doesn't want to do. I mean, any once in a great while we'll do cars over the 80s. It's very rare, and it depends on who it's for, what it's for, all that stuff. But we're a hot rod shop, and we're not a carousel building motorcycle shop.
So you stick with what
we know. You know, we a lot of things we do turn down because we, you know, again, a lot of foreign cars we don't mess with because we don't know about it. You know, and some of you have some British cars. I mean, Lucas wiring, really? That's why the old joke, you know, the MG, where that name came from. It's because you're always on the side of the road going, my God. So, you know, it's that Lucas wiring, and but there's a lot of cars if we don't know enough about it and we don't know we can find the parts and we can put it back together, or even resto-mod it, we just won't get into it. So it's got to be something we're comfortable doing, and these artists see the vision before it's done, because that's truly what they do. When they explain this is what it's going to look like to me, it almost comes out just like they explained, and I can't see it until it's done. So my head just doesn't work that way. But I tell you, the artists have a different way of doing things, and I appreciate it. It's just not something the way I would do it. But
put it this way: if I came to Danny and wanted to do one of the bikes or the golf cart that I want to do, or the bike that I'm trying to do, or my bus, even if I really went to him and told him what I wanted to do in the first place, he'd just be like, all right, that's good, Mike. You do that someday on your own damn time.
Okay, that's cool.
And Mike does his own projects on his own time, and you know, the people go crazy over him. They come out really good. It's just I'm just not sure Danny condones that behavior. That's all.
He doesn't. I'm comfortable with it.
I think we have time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions. We have a meet and greet coming up right after this. But I think we have a question in the back.
I'll do it real quick. Hi, guys.
What's up, man?
Fine, thank you. I want to congratulate you with my bad English.
I speak bad Spanish.
Let's test you in Hebrew in a while. I'm coming
worse
from
than there.
Israel, where we have a lot of talented people, but unfortunately, government regulations wouldn't allow us to do probably half of what you do, even more. But I can say that your show has made some kind of awareness which took people to pursue their dream and to use their talent. And we do have, in the last few years, we do have a handful of shops which does whatever they can within the limits. And I just want to thank you. You have great deal of fans in Israel. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Hey, I want to say something as far as that goes, man. I mean, I think that's one of the coolest things, that I get to do what I'm good at, what I know, and to hear that I inspire people. I inspire people to like even try to airbrush or just attempt to build something they've never built before. I'm always amazed that it inspires other people, because in the end, I'm just sitting at home thinking, oh, motorized picnic table. That would be great. And really, I just think it's my own crazy ideas, but then to hear it inspires other people to try other things, it always absolutely amazes
I
me.
just, as a parent, I worry that an 8-year-old's going to come to his mother and say, I want to be just like Horny Mike. I mean, the word horny comes out of an 8-year-old's mouth. I mean, when we go places, we tell, people to hide your children and make sure the females are over the age of 21. Horny Mike's around. But yeah, thank you. And I mean, we are blessed. And by being in 160 countries, we get a lot of emails from Israel. We get them from India. We get them from Brazil. We get them from all over the world, which is just mind-boggling. Mike and I were lucky enough to go to Costa Rica, and we were just lucky to get out of there alive. I mean,
that was crazy.
Well, Costa Rica is known as a third world country, which, yes and no. I guess certain parts of it, yes, that's why. But I got to tell you, the folks there are nothing but nice. They can't afford carpet in their home, but they have a satellite dish and a cell phone. Those are the two most important things.
And they watch our show.
And they watch the show. And I got to tell you, we got trampled. We literally got trampled by hundreds of people in Costa Rica, and we were lucky to get out of there without getting hurt. It was nuts. The people
going back
closed
this year.
in. We couldn't move, and they just wanted a picture, and they were fighting each other to get a picture, and it was just nuts. And and to know that they're fighting about that is just, we felt bad, but then we look at it and we go, wow, I mean, our show is saying something. And, we very rarely use foul language on the show. We are truly blessed, and we give back. And we try and give back. We give to the military. We're big fans of the military. We've done some military, a lot of military stuff. One in particular that, and anytime I think about it, I get emotional, and it was a gentleman who paints paintings of fallen soldiers and then presents them to the family. And this guy has got the hardest job of anybody, is bringing back their son or daughter to the family. And when he does that, I've seen him do it, and man, it's heart-wrenching, but I tell you, we were so proud to be part of that. And to paint his trucks and get it to where he could deliver these paintings for us was to know we helped. We felt good about it. But we have so much respect for law enforcement, firefighters, civil service, the military, anybody that's working to help other people. We just appreciate that. So it's allowing us to do what we want to do, and being able to showcase what we do. And it's not about, making the money for us. It's about seeing the smile on people's faces when we give them back their vehicle that's been in their family for 40 years.
I like when they cry.
We love that, and we love to see emotion.
Not me.
There's nothing like emotion, and it's what's good. It keeps. You've seen. We've all seen what we've done for the Harvey victims, for what we're doing now for Irma. and what we're going to continue to do. And we love helping. So at this point in our lives and where we're at, that's kind of where our focus has shifted, to help other people. And, I don't want to get preachy on you, but, in the Bible it says it right there, you get back double what you give. So everybody should give what they can and help other people. But, to hear that we're inspiring people, thank you for that. And we're just so happy to do it. And really we're entertainers at this point. But if we can help, we'd love to.
Yeah, I just got back from Malaysia and the Philippines. Malaysia's the same way. They're not allowed to paint the cars. They're not allowed to two-tone them. They're not allowed to airbrush them. Your car comes blue, that's the way it stays. But yet there was so many of us for HistoryCon, and I went there, and there was so many people that just absolutely adored the cars we do. And I guess a lot of it's because they can't do it. Yeah. But then I went to the Philippines. They're allowed to do whatever they want. And they loved us. I mean, I got trampled everywhere I went. I mean, I didn't mind. It was fun.
It seems to be a standard here, getting trampled.
Well, you go to different countries, that's all.
Countries, and Brazil's, I know we see, at the shop, we probably get 600 people on average a day that come tour Counts Kustoms. It's in Las Vegas. You're there. It's small town. It's a free tour. We offer a free tour. Come see the stuff we've done on the show. We don't care if you buy a T-shirt or not. If you do, that's great. If you don't, you don't.
Just get a Horny Mike one.
But just to just see some of the stuff that we do in the crazy shop we're in, and like you said, controlled chaos.
Yep.
And you'll see it by coming into the shop, the way stuff is painted, the way things are done, and we really try and be different than anybody else. But it's a brand that we take care of, and we promote it in a way that we can control it, and that we're fussy about it. If people are selling our stuff on eBay or Amazon and we didn't, and we know that you're allowed to sell used items. So if you bought it from us and you're selling it, that's great. But if you printed it yourself and you're selling it, we put a stop to it. And we're very, because we've had a lot of people complain, this shirt it's falling apart. Well, we didn't make that shirt. Well, I got it off eBay, but you didn't buy it from Counts Custom. But a lot of people don't understand the difference. And so they're buying stuff from wherever, and it's not, we didn't do it. And so we try and stop that. But we're very protective of our brand.
Great. And yeah, let's give them a nice hand, because the work they do, both for the charities and everything.
Thank you.
We're gonna do our best not to trample you, because we're gonna do a little meet and greet right over by the car over here.
All these folks here, this is nothing. you guys can do whatever you got to do, but you just don't want to get around 4,000 or 5,000 people all coming at you at once.
Yeah, you've been doing your shows posthumously.
Yeah. Well, we've gotten really good at running. We never ran before. We do a lot of running now.
Yeah.
Helps us stay in shape.
So we're going to head over there. In the meantime, we'd like to thank Kelly Services for sponsoring today's event. How about a nice hand for Mike and Kevin from Customs Counts?
Kelly, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, no problem, man.